22nd, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Supreme Court has struck down a school voucher program in Maine, ruling that a state that offers to pay tuition for students attending private schools cannot refuse to pay when the school is religious. In a 6-3 ruling, Alex Sawyer reports the justices said the First Amendment requires the state to be neutral in spending decisions, which mean a program that is generally open to all can't shut its doors to a religious applicant. Writing the majority opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts said Maine's program isn't the state funding religious schools so much as it is offering money to parents for education at religious schools. Justice Stephen Breyer, in dissent, said the majority was paying too much attention to the First Amendment's Free Exercise Clause, which protects freedom of worship, and not enough to the Establishment Clause, which limits the government's involvement with religious institutions. 50 House Republicans have petitioned President Biden to stop the Pentagon's plan to ban commercial production of AR-15 ammunition at a plant in Missouri. Kerry Pickett reports the lawmakers' letter, spearheaded by Missouri Republicans Vicky Hartzler and Sam Graves, says the Biden administration had tried to circumvent Congress by banning ammunition for the popular firearm. The Department of Defense-owned Lake City Army ammunition plant has allowed private contractors to operate the plant and produce ammunition for commercial sales that exceed U.S. military needs. The White House has denied the administration plans to prohibit sales at the plant. Former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has a chance to return to power after a stunning political shakeup that has Israel barreling toward its fifth election in 3 years. Ben Wolfgang reports current Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, a one-time aide to Netanyahu, announced Monday he would dissolve parliament after several key lawmakers withdrew their support for the government. New elections are now tentatively set for October. Foreign Minister Yair Lapid will serve as caretaker prime minister in the meantime. Regional analysts say the rapid collapse of the coalition government didn't happen by accident, and that Netanyahu worked feverishly behind the scenes to whip up opposition to Bennett and undermine an 8-party governing alliance. You can find all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire roster of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The National Ice Council is filing charges with the Department of Labor to seek financial autonomy from its parent unions, the AFL-CIO and the American Federation of Government Employees. Stephen Dinan reports the complaint asked the Labor Department to impose a full financial audit of the two parent unions, to grant financial independence to the council, and to ensure protections from retaliation by the AFL-CIO or AFGE. The council says it can't get adequate representation from the two organizations, which foster, quote, hate and prejudice against U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and have backed political candidates who call for defunding ICE. The council represents approximately 7,600 jobs. And finally, universities have closed most of the more than 100 Chinese-linked Confucius Institutes across the United States, but many of the sites are operating under new names, according to a study. Bill Gertz reports 104 of 118 Confucius Institutes have closed or are in the process of closing at American universities, according to the National Association of Scholars. However, the report says the Chinese government continues to influence American universities through alternative methods. China has billed the institutes as a way to promote Chinese culture and offer Chinese language instruction overseas. Critics say the main mission of the institutes is to influence domestic political issues and to target American academics who criticize Chinese policies. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.